Hello and welcome to the second of our films for this year's Self-Denial Appeal. For this year's Self-Denial Appeal, we're looking at how the Salvation Army around the world is caring for creation and responding to climate change. This week I'll be talking to George Abundo in Kenya. George is a project manager working on water, sanitation and hygiene, as well as food security projects across the country. The Salvation Army in Kenya is growing. Its two territories now have over 400,000 members if you include junior soldiers. The country as a whole has seen economic growth, but there is still widespread poverty. Subsistence farmers who rely on predictable rainy seasons have been hit hard by changing weather patterns. George is in Nairobi today. Let's see if I can get hold of him. George, thank you so much for being with us today. It's wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the invitation.
So obviously we're thinking a little bit over here about care for creation and the impact of climate change. George, what are you seeing where you are?
Climate change, I want to say, is a big thing here. It's something which is affecting people because now the weather patterns have really been unpredictable. It's a real concern. And almost 2/3 of Kenya is arid and semi-arid, experiencing severe drought. So when you add that to climate change challenges, then you find that the situation is quite disparate. Sometimes in Kenya, you find children going without food, women, people with a disability going without water. They suffer communicable diseases such as diarrhea, malnutrition. The people who actually destroy the climate, the big contributors are mainly in the developed world. But the greatest people who suffer the impact of climate change are people in this region. And the vulnerable population, the poor, are really affected by the impacts of climate change.
So with all of these impacts coming towards you, all of these changes that are affecting, as you say, livelihoods, ability to farm, the droughts in these already arid areas, what are the projects that you're working on right now to deal with this climate change?
Currently, the project that I'm leading is focusing on resilience, looking at the water, sanitation, hygiene, food security, issues of economic empowerment, but through a resilience lens. Because the starting point is for people to understand climate change. You must understand how to adapt. And even some of the mitigation measures. For instance, the picture that I sent on our borehole, fitted with solar energy. So that is also an innovative way of ensuring that you tap into that. Instead of, again, spending money on electricity, we are encouraging people to capitalize on the free solar energy to power their water tanks. So that is one of the innovative ways of actually even implementing our projects.
George, one of the pictures that you sent through was of a sand dam. It's an extraordinary picture. Can you explain to us what that is and what its purpose is?
Yes, a sand dam is a water collection structure, just to put it simply. That construction now impounds or collects both sand and water, and the excess water passes downstream. So if you look at the vegetation around that sand dam, with the time you find that the water table will now rise. And even the vegetation around the sand dam will even improve. From arid vegetation to a flourishing vegetation. And in fact, I want to mention this, that the UK territory has really supported quite a number of sand dams. And the sand dams that they have supported are very successful. Good. The impact might not be very fast, but with time, the sand dams that we did 5 years ago, now huge impact, even on agriculture, on food availability, on tree planting, on the general climate, on livestock, water availability to households. Huge impact.
Yeah.
Yes.
George, thank you so much for spending time with me today. Bless you.
Thank you, and God bless you. God bless UK territory and many other territories. We value your support, and we look forward to a continued working relationship with you. Oh. We wish you well, and we wish them well, especially now during this pandemic. Yeah. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Bless you. Bye. In next week's film, I'll be talking to Colonel Yusak Tampi in Indonesia.